We'll start with Najee. He addressed the fifth-year option, the decline of his fifth-year option for the first time this offseason. This was the first time he spoke to the Steelers media. Probably wasn't too happy about it, but at some point, you got to show up. Otherwise, you're going to get fined. In the words of Marshawn Lynch, I'm here to get fined. And, well, Najee's not getting fined this season. So he shows up. He's asked about his fifth-year option or the decline of his fifth-year option. He says this, quote, "I was disappointed for a minute. It's nothing really where me sitting around being disappointed for too long would do anything to help me out. It is what it is, and you've got to keep it pushing. Come out here doing what's best for the team, and coming out here is what's most important right now. Yeah, I was for a minute, couple of days, but it passed in my mind so fast." Then he later was asked, "Do you want to stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers?" Quote, "Yeah, most definitely. I like it here in Pittsburgh. I like Coach T, Mr. Rooney, Omar, even Kevin Colbert when he was here. It's a good city. Obviously, the people here are nice and are welcoming, but it's a business. It comes and goes. I've been around this stuff all my life. What I always take from it is I've always been in the driver's seat of this, and God's been steering. Wherever he stops the car, whoever I'm working at, if it's here or somewhere else, by all means, I'm going to do everything I can for that team. That's just the mindset you've got to have in this sport." I'll say this. My first reaction was, it's good to hear that Najee was disappointed with the decline of his fifth-year option, because it puts to rest all the rumors, all the reports coming out here, all the speculation of Najee wanted the team to decline the fifth-year option and he wanted to get out of here as fast as possible. Puts all that to bed, which is massive, because it's a distraction that the Pittsburgh Steelers did not need. It's a distraction that Najee Harris did not need. It's just not anything that this team wants to have in their locker room in 2024, especially if they're looking to hunt for a Super Bowl and make a playoff push. So that's my first reaction, is it's good to see that. Number two is you're still showing up. You're not making this a big deal. You're trying to address it and let the world know, like, hey, I want to be in Pittsburgh. I want to make this work. But at the same time, you're letting it be to the point where you are not making it bigger than the team's goal, which is massive. You are still here to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward and you are putting the team in a position to win. And I think that's as significant as it gets for a guy who's in a contract year, who didn't get what he wanted, who should be upset, who should be disappointed, but instead he's coming to Latrobe. He's not holding out in a season where everybody holds out right now. Like, this is it. This is holdout season. Najee Harris is showing up. He's not complaining whatsoever. I mean, addresses everything, says the running back market is still devalued when it comes to the money side of things, and that he's not going to get a fair shake at the end of this. And hold on, he addresses it all, and still he's on the field. I think that's huge. Shows exactly who Najee Harris is when it comes to him being a worker and how hard he's willing to put himself behind this team to make sure that this team gets to where he wants it to be. I mean, that's just huge. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what Najee did and him showing up and him saying what he had to say, but still being here to work, speaks wonders. The lights just shut off on me, but okay, keep it trucking. Your thoughts when you saw all of it, and who Najee is. I'm going to go turn these lights on. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever found yourself scrolling on social media, maybe spending too much time on whatever platform you're addicted to, and thinking, man, why am I feeling down? Why do I find myself not finding the joy that social media is supposed to give me? That's because comparison is the thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives. But therapy can help. It can help you focus on what you want instead of what other people have, so you can start living your best life. I'm somebody who's advocated for therapy for a long time. You constantly see me wearing the sweatshirt, going to therapy is cool. I've reaped the benefits for years, and I think everybody who's thinking about it should add that to their agenda as well, because in one way or another, it's very helpful. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/allsteelers today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/allsteelers.
Yeah, it was the first domino that had to fall for training camp for Najee Harris. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a handful of storylines heading into this, and one of the biggest ones was, will Najee speak to the media? When will Najee speak to the media? And there was a little thought early on that, well, maybe he's ducking them for the day. He came in on the side and not down the middle of the staircase, but at the same time, comes back out, talks to the media, kind of puts all of this to rest. And I thought it was really important that they did that before the first day on the field, because we all know the business starts tomorrow whenever you're on the field. I thought it was very important that he came out today and said, listen, I'm showing up. I'm getting ready. We start on the field tomorrow, but I want this behind me before I step foot on Latrobe's field. And that's what he did. And I think he put a lot of those questions to rest. And it's huge for the Steelers. And it's huge for Najee Harris. And it's huge for the positive direction of this team, both on and off the field going forward.
Yeah, I agree. So these lights are not going back on. There's no chance. I just danced around this room.
Still look good.
There's yeah, we're fine. We're out here doing our thing. I agree with you 100%. That's just the heart and soul. Like, it shows you there have been questions, and even I have questioned Najee Harris's leadership and where he stands with this team and how big of a leader he is on the offense and so on and so forth. I think in my head, this is a massive step forward. Like, this was a day, this was a moment where, to me, Najee Harris is a leader. To me, Najee Harris has gained a lot of respect in Steelers Nation. He should. You should look at Najee Harris differently. Like, even if you aren't the biggest fan of his talent, you should look at Najee as one of those guys that, look at, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt at all times because he did this, like, he showed up ready to go, ready to take that first step and to get to training camp and not make his problems the team's problems. That just, that just shows you exactly who he is. And if you're a Steelers fan, if you're a member of this organization, that's what you're looking for. Mike Tomlin said it so many times when he was drafted. Najee Harris is a Steeler. He's just a Steelers guy. And I think this is really the first time that you got to see, like, exactly what Mike meant in Najee's a Steeler and Najee's a Steeler guy. And I think that's massive. Do you think that it helped in any way him getting a deal with the Steelers?
I think the Steelers expected this from him. So I don't think it changed very much of anything for Najee Harris, because I think the Steelers, like you mentioned, Mike Tomlin has had that opinion of him for the past 3 years since they drafted him, that he is a Steeler and he's going to handle things in the way that a Steeler should. So I don't think this changes anything. I think that they want to hold him to that standard. So him actually coming through and staying to that standard, I don't think changes much. It's obviously not going to hurt him at all, but I think they expected him to come out and do what a Steeler should do, which is face it head on, get it off the table, and then, get ready to play some football tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what it did. I don't know how much it boosted. I think at the end of the season, if he has a good year, you'll remember this, and the Steelers will remember this. If he doesn't and things change, I don't know. We'll take it from there. But I do think that if it comes down to the negotiation side in a year, that they're going to remember this, and that's going to mean something to Steelers. And if it doesn't, it just shows that the business is the business at the end of the day. And, it goes both ways. I'm always pro player, and you got to remember that they did what he shouldn't have done for the team, which is huge.